Hey, this is Garrett with Sympliact. Thanks for joining me today. This video is going to be the first video in a series where we unpack all of the different ways that the platform can be used to initiate or facilitate the sharing of treatment-specific data for a patient. What does that mean? So the use cases would be things like we want to refer this patient to a specific provider for the care that they need. It could be that we want to refer the patient for care, but instead of recommending one specific provider, we want to give them multiple different recommended providers that they can choose from. Alternatively, it could be that their case is going to be a complicated case and we want to refer them to multiple different types of providers to collaborate on the same course of care. So the example would be a case that in order to reach our final goals of this care, we may need to involve collaboration between both a restorative provider, an orthodontist, an endodontist, and maybe even a surgeon. So instead of all these different providers attempting to communicate and collaborate via different channels, everyone can very simply and efficiently stay in sync via the collaboration on one single shared care thread. And then lastly, it could be that we simply want to share the data with the patient themselves because they have a specific provider outside of our network that they already know and want to see, or maybe they're moving out of town, and by sharing the data now, they can take that data with them and share it with any provider that they choose in their new location. There are just tons of different ways that we can leverage the platform to add significant value to both ourselves and our patients. So elevating the patient experience along the way and saving ourselves time and frustration. These powerful functionalities are very specific and unique to Sympliact. There's no other platform or tool capable of what Sympliact can do on these fronts. This first video is going to show us or focus on the quick foundational steps that you'll take regardless of which of the above courses you're electing to pursue. So these steps will be done regardless of whether or not you're going to refer to a specific provider, whether you're going to refer but give the patient different options to choose from, or whether or not you're just going to share the data with the patient themselves. The subsequent videos in this series will then build upon these initial core steps that we're going to look at in this video and show us how to achieve whichever of the above routes we wish to take with regards to collaborating and referring. So let's jump into it. I'm starting on my daily patient dashboard or schedule here. The interaction is always going to first start in this search field at the top right. And the other thing I'll look at real quick is, for context sake, we're in the City General Dentistry practice. It's a test practice, and the user is Mary Jones. Okay, so Mary's going to come to the right, top right, where there's the search bar. And here we're going to search regardless. We're going to search for the patient that we want to create a care thread for. In this case, it's an existing patient, so the system finds them, I click on the name, and I'm in the chart. The other option is that we enter another patient, let's say, and let's say this patient does not yet exist. It says no results found, so I'm going to click the Add button to the left of that, and then the system will allow me to enter specific pieces of data for this particular patient. So name, date of birth, email, phone, and then I'm going to hit create patient, and it's going to take me to the chart similar to when I clicked on the existing patient. The next step is I'm going to go to the top right and I'm going to click care threads. I'm now on my care threads dashboard. We see that there's no current care threads for this patient because we just created them. I'm going to then click add new care thread at the top right. Within the thread itself, I'm going to start by expanding the header here, and I'm going to name this thread. So the name would be something related to either what's wrong or what's needed treatment-wise. I'm then going to close that header, and it saves the name. Within the thread itself, I'm going to add whatever's relevant to that particular the care needed. So I can add a comment. So in this case, I'm going to say Dr. Jones's recommendation, patient should establish care with an oral surgeon for removal of cracked non-restorable tooth 30 and replacement with an implant. I could also copy and paste a clinical note into this field if I wanted to, and whichever I decide, I'll then post that to the thread. So when this patient decides to see another provider, we're giving that provider the information they need to know what we think needs to happen or what is wrong so that they can then initiate or begin initiating the care. The other thing we'll do in the thread is add any pertinent attachments. So I'm going to come down to the bottom left, right next to the comments field, and I'm going to hit the plus button. So I have a couple of options here. I can upload files, and I can add a collaborator. For these basic foundation steps, the main thing to focus on is uploading any relevant files. So whether that's a clinical photo, whether that's a PA X-ray, a Panorex X-ray, a surface scan, a video, or even up to a cone beam data set that we can share. So I'm going to click File Upload. I'm going to select, in this case, we'll upload a PA. The system now has uploaded it to this thread. I have the ability to make any edits. So in this case, let's say I want to edit the name. I'm going to come to the top left where there's the attachments icon. It shows that there's one attachment. I click on that. It opens a file manager window on the right side. There's a menu for that file I just uploaded where I can view, download, or remove. In this case, I'm going to click Details. I can update the name of that file if I need to. I can add a record date so that whoever ultimately accesses this file can always see exactly when that x-ray was taken. I can add labels if I want to, but in this case, we'll just update the name and record date. So I can then close that. I've got my thread where now I've documented what Dr. Jones thinks needs to occur. I've uploaded any relevant files. And those files could also include a scanned in copy of a referral form, really anything. A PDF can be added to the thread. Any context that the other provider on the other side may need to appropriately treat the patient, we'll add it to the thread. And these are the foundational steps. These are the steps that will occur regardless of which subsequent routes we want to take with regards to either referring the patient or just allowing the patient to access the data themselves. And that's really it. Very quick, very easy. We're either going to click into an existing patient, or as we did here, we're going to create a new patient. We'll then go to the Care Threads dashboard, add a new care thread, populate it with any relevant data and attachments. And then we've created the foundation from which we can now take those additional steps, which we'll look at in those upcoming videos like we discussed. So I hope that this makes sense, and I look forward to taking you through those next steps, which is where we'll really see how Sympliact is very different from any other system out there. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.